The OKC Thunder were such a dominant team during the regular season to the point that it actually resulted in a clutch time deficiency. The NBA defines clutch time as the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime periods when the score is within 5 points or less. And overall, the 2025 Thunder only played 24 of such clutch games during the regular season, which is the fewest by any team. Meanwhile, the Denver Nuggets played a total of 36 clutch games during the regular season, and while that's only about league average, it's still 50% more clutch games than what OKC played. Fast forward to the second round of this year's playoffs, and critics have been quick to point to the lack of crunch time reps as to why the Thunder have lost games 1 and 3 against Denver, two games which OKC appeared close to winning. In Game 1, OKC were up 9 points with 3 minutes left in regulation, only to get outscored by Denver 15-4 for the rest of the game, capped by an Aaron Gordon game-winning three-pointer. Then in Game 3, Shai missed multiple shots that could have won the game for the Thunder in the closing minutes of the fourth period. Then in overtime, OKC only scored 2 points, leading to a 9-point victory for the Nuggets. Those situations seem to confirm every doubt that critics had about the real capabilities of this OKC team. Maybe they're just too young, and maybe they're still too inexperienced to generate offense in close postseason games. And maybe the greatness of 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic and the championship experience of the Nuggets core were really just too much for the Thunder to handle. But then, since that overtime collapse in game number 3, the Thunder have shown that they're capable of learning and adjusting on the fly and playing like the top-seeded team that they are when it matters the most. As in the fourth quarters of games 4 and 5, which OKC both won, they have outscored Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets by a total of 26 points, 63-37. So what's good everyone, it's Real Balls here, and today let's talk about how the OKC Thunder have placed themselves one win away from making it back to the Western Conference Finals. So let's get to it. One crucial element of the game, which was always going to potentially make or break the Thunder in the series, is their rebounding. During the regular season, the Denver Nuggets were the 4th best rebounding team in the NBA, while OKC was just middle of the pack at number 11. And no one was really surprised when Denver won the rebounding battle against OKC in all of their 4 regular season matchups. Then in game number 1 of this second round series, Denver once again dominated OKC on the boards with a whopping 20 rebound difference. But the thing is, OKC has actually out-rebounded Denver since then. Well, Denver still leads OKC by 9 rebounds for the whole series, but it's actually OKC's hustle on the offensive glass that has allowed them to keep the possession game close against the Nuggets. Sure, Denver still has a slight edge of 5 offensive rebounds over the Thunder, but without OKC keeping it close on the boards, they probably wouldn't be up in the series right now. You just gotta give OKC credit because there have just been a ton of moments in this series when the Nuggets were simply outworked and out-hustled by Thunder players crashing out of nowhere to grab offensive boards. Right here against Denver's zone, you can see Shai attacking off the ball screen from iHeart. He finds Lu Dort on the wing, who then pulls the trigger. And right here, you can see that Jokic has the paint all by himself, which should allow him to box anybody out for the rebound. But also, from the weak side, you can see Aaron Wiggins already rushing to the paint while the shot is about to go down. Just watch him out-jump Jokic as he scores off the putback slam. In this possession, with Denver up by 2 late in the fourth quarter, J-Dub attacks Gordon but he gets walled off in the paint. He finds Chet with a mismatch against Murray, which forces Jokic to the soft double. As Chet pulls up for the jumper, you have Jokic and MPJ in the paint, but iHeart simply outworks both of them, tapping the ball to himself for the second chance bucket. Overall, allowing OKC to get those extra possessions off those rebounds could end up as a huge problem for Denver down the stretch, most especially when the Thunder have also been forcing their best player, Nikola Jokic, to commit a ton of mistakes on the floor. I think what's particularly concerning here for Denver is the fact that during the regular season, the Nuggets were actually the 3rd best team in the NBA in terms of taking care of the ball with just a 12.8 turnover rate. But then in this second round series against OKC, it is crazy that when Nikola Jokic is on the floor, OKC has forced Denver's turnover rate to skyrocket to 18.4, which would have been the second worst turnover rate during the regular season. Well, the objective here for the NBA's number 1 defense has been to obviously make life uncomfortable for Nikola Jokic in every possession, and so far, the Thunder have accomplished that in a huge way. This is reflected by the fact that entering Game 6, Jokic has had a total of 25 turnovers compared to just 26 assists. Well, sure, as expected, the Joker will have big games against OKC. In Game 1, he dropped 42 points on an efficient 51% shooting, and in Game 5, he dropped 44 points on 68% shooting. But it's Jokic's performances in the in-between games, games 2 to 4, that have swung the momentum in favor of the Thunder. As in those games, OKC has forced Jokic, one of the most efficient superstars in NBA history, to shoot under 40% from the field in 3 consecutive nights for the first time in his career, with Jokic shooting just 33.3% from the field from games 2 to 4. Well, whether it was Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, or Jay Will who guarded him, or even when he was able to force a switch against Alex Caruso or Aaron Wiggins, this elite OKC defense have just swarmed Jokic with soft doubles and aggressive gap help whenever he initiated the post-up, whether he touched the ball in the elbows or even when he got the ball off a dribble handoff, causing the Joker to make some rash decisions with the ball in his hands. In this possession, you can see Jamal Murray setting up a stagger screen for Jokic, allowing him to receive the handoff from Gordon at the top of the key. And right here, as Gordon is about to slip to the paint, instead of trailing him, Chet Holmgren switches and blitzes Jokic on the ball, using his length, making it hard for Jokic to make a clean entry pass. And you can see the bad angle of Jokic's pass as he sends the ball straight to Ihart's hands, who gets the steal. This time, in early offense, Jokic himself tries to initiate on the high post against Hartenstein, and being comfortable leaving Westbrook open from deep, you can already see Lu Dort swarming Jokic with the help. Now, with the ball pressure he's facing, Jokic is forced to make the pass to Russ in the paint, but Ihart gets a piece of the ball as he gets another steal. He immediately finds Shai, who only needs 2 dribbles before making the lob to J-Dub, who's already ahead as he finishes the fast break dunk. Now, if you're Denver, you just don't want to make those sloppy passes against this OKC team who thrives off opponents' mistakes. During the regular season, the Thunder led the league in steals per game and points off turnovers, and they fully doubled down on those against Denver in this series, as they forced the Nuggets to commit a massive 16 turnovers per game through Game 5, which has resulted to OKC generating 18.6 points off those turnovers in their 3 wins, which is a ton of points to be giving up in such a tightly contested series. Well, with Jokic not playing his best in this series, it was expected that Jamal Murray was going to step up his offensive game, which he did, particularly when he scored 27 points in Game 3. In that game, Denver was able to repeatedly force Lu Dort to get switch off Murray, which then allowed Murray to get to his usual spots. But since then, Lu Dort has adjusted by just being more intentional in terms of limiting the effectivity of those Murray and Jokic ball screen actions. In this possession, you can see Murray receiving the ball on the nail with Dort all over him. Murray is able to evade the ball pressure with the ball screen from Jokic, but Hartenstein does a good job by staying on a soft drop, with Caruso also on a slight stunt as he ignores Westbrook on the corners. This now allows Dort to recover on Murray. Jokic tries to rescreen, but this time, Dort stays tight on his feet, evading the screen. And with the shot clock dying down, Murray is forced to take Dort in isolation, trying to bump him to no avail, as Murray has no choice but to take the tough off-balance shot in the paint. Again, in this possession, you can see Murray using the Jokic screen, but you can see Lu Dort fighting through it, with Hartenstein also playing on the drop really well. Watch how Dort continues to hound Murray in the paint, which eventually forces him to take a tough one-hander. Murray secures the ball off his own miss, but then Shai is right there just forcing the ball out of Murray's hands. Well, I think this is another point of emphasis that needs to be talked about. Sure, both Denver and OKC have been tentative from the 3-point line in this series, with both teams shooting in the mid-30% from deep. But what has really made it even harder for Denver to score is that OKC has just really packed the paint, not allowing Denver to get easy high-percentage looks inside the arc. Overall, Denver has converted just 41.6% of their 2-point field goal attempts in this series, which you could credit to OKC consistently using their length and aggressiveness to crowd drives to the basket. In this possession, you can see Jokic using a pin-down screen from MPJ to get to the ball before he utilizes some double drag actions from Murray and Gordon to free himself up. This successfully allows Jokic to get momentum on his drive with Ihart defending him, but watch Chet Holmgren with a quick help on the lane to make sure that Jokic has nowhere to go, as Ihart blocks him right under the basket. This time, Denver runs an inverted Jokic and Murray ball screen action where you can see Dort staying nimble on his feet as he evades the Jokic screen off the handoff to be able to stick with Murray as he drives. Just when Murray thinks he's got room for a floater, Chet Holmgren is there to stifle the ball right at mid-air. Now, on the other side of the floor, one thing that has held OKC back in this series, especially early on, was their late-game execution. Obviously, when the game is on the line, the offense is going to start with the ball in SGA's hands. The problem was, in the fourth quarters and overtime periods of Games 1 and 3, which both ended in tight losses for OKC, Shai only shot 5 of 15 from the field. Late in those games, what Denver did was basically try to funnel SGA's drives towards the middle of the floor, hopefully in the vicinity of Jokic or Aaron Gordon, where they can use their physicality to crowd OKC's airspace, leading Shai to take some tough shots and make some questionable decisions with the ball. But since then, SGA has become more patient with his attack. His processing of the game has been a huge difference maker, as in the fourth quarters of games 4 and 5, he shot a much better 5 out of 11 from the field. Not only did Shai successfully dissect the defense of Jamal Murray and Christian Braun to get to his spots, but whenever he was trapped and he didn't have a driving lane available, he made the right passes to keep the Thunder's offense from stagnating. Right here, with a game tied in the fourth quarter with a minute and a half left, you can see Dort setting the screen for Shai before he actually moves to the weak side. Right here, Shai stays patient in isolation against Braun, but the moment Murray goes in a soft double, Shai makes his move to pull two bodies in the paint, which he knows will open up Dort on the wing. He makes the pass, but with Gordon making the quick closeout, Denver's zone is broken, and knowing that no one's gonna rotate on the corner, Dort makes the smart play as he swings the ball to J-Dub, who hits the wide open three-pointer. Then in this possession, with about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, J-Dub let Shai take control of the offense. Right here, Shai could have used the screen from iHeart to attack the drop coverage, but Braun staying on that high trap leaves J-Dub with so much space on the weak side, so Shai makes the pass. Now with Gordon having to stay on Chet underneath, and with Jokic already pulled away from the paint, J-Dub knows he can now just use his speed to attack the paint for a high percentage look at the basket. Well, we haven't really seen OKC utilize those types of rim attacks for the most part of this series, mostly because of Denver typically being aggressive in terms of blitzing OKC's initial actions, just as they did basically against every opponent during the regular season. But at the end of the day, the fact remains that Denver isn't a shot-blocking team, and they don't protect the paint particularly well. In the regular season, they only ranked 20th in terms of opponent rim efficiency and only 21st in shot-blocking percentage. And in those moments in this series when OKC has been able to pull Jokic out of the paint or force him into an island, Denver's rim protection has really been compromised. Here in early offense, seeing how high Jokic is on the floor, Shai wastes no time using the ghost screen from Hartenstein to split the pick-and-roll defense. He gets past Braun, and with Jokic no match for his speed and with no rim protectors in the paint, Shai gets the easy finish at the basket. This time, against the zone, Caruso runs a ball screen for Shai. Shai rejects the screen and goes right. And as he drives, Gordon has no choice but to rotate on iHeart, who's loading up in the dunker spot. This leaves Jokic on an island, so Shai takes advantage by going left and attacking him, taking the contact and converting on the shot plus a foul. Well, so much for all the talk about OKC benefiting from foul shots. It's worth noting that entering Game 6, Denver has actually made 3 more free throws and has attempted 3 more free throws than OKC. Nonetheless, based on how close this series has been so far, free throws could one way or another be a deciding factor, so it definitely wouldn't hurt OKC to be more aggressive and try to find more ways to attack the paint, which has always been a key part of their drive and kick game in the first place. Well, the championship pedigree of this Denver Nuggets team has never been in question, which is why this series is definitely not over. Nikola Jokic will always do what it takes to win, and another explosive game from Aaron Gordon or Jamal Murray could easily force OKC into a deciding Game 7, which Denver could eventually win. Still, that doesn't take away the fact that we're actually witnessing this young OKC team playing like the championship favorites that they are, showing that they can close out games against a tough and experienced Denver team, especially when other top contenders like Boston and Cleveland have already faded in the playoffs. So thank you guys if you've actually made it this far into the video. Drop your predictions for Game 6 and for the series down in the comment section below. And again, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. Again, this has been Real Balls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.